Good evening. This is Case Study Internet Use Violation Standard 5 Threats over the World Wide Web. Technology Strikes Again. Category 1 Problem Identification. What I know. The school in question is Roosevelt High School, located in an affluent area, which means they have some money. Where patrons of the school have little financial worry. Families have doctors, lawyers, and partners in investment firms. Dr. Forbes is an experienced principal for 9 years at Roosevelt. He is also recognized as Principal of the Year by his state and secondary principals associations 2 years ago. He's established, respected by parents, focused on maintaining keeping his school in good standing. Dr. Forbes worked diligently to recommend only the most highly qualified teachers for average available positions. This is when Miss Cindy Walker enters the situation. Miss Walker is a beginning teacher, completed undergrad, master's, and another year of postgrad work before applying for a teaching position. She's intent on establishing a structured classroom focused on academics when the students experience high levels of stress when this occurs. Dr. Forbes received numerous calls about Miss Walker's stringent expectations from parents concerned that their children receive their first low grade in high school. He's also shared ideas to help Miss Walker increase positive interactions with students to reduce stress, which have not been implemented by Miss Walker. She has sent an email link providing her with a website that contains the threats. Walker was sent an email with a link providing her a website with the messages because number 7 wasn't included. What do I need to know? I would need to know where the email or website was constructed. Was it created on the school system or was it created on a personal system? What's the district policy when it comes to harassment or threats to faculty and or students, whether personal or via email or websites? Third, why didn't Miss Walker change her methods to become a more personable teacher, and why didn't Dr. Forbes follow up with the suggested methods? Is Miss Walker's life really in danger? Identifying the problem. We have a teacher who is very driven to push her students, but not able to reach them in a way students can learn, so she is not very student friendly. She's more by the book instead of trying to find ways that are successful in her classroom. She failed to take advice from Dr. Forbes to be more reasonable with her methods and techniques with her students in class. Dr. Forbes needs to follow up, but probably thought his teacher is a bright person and can make the necessary adjustments to become a better teacher. With his negligence has led to some angry parent issues and a scared teacher on his hands. Proposed plan of action, category 2. First, I would need to address the Miss Walker situation. I would make sure she is as comfortable as possible in the situation. I would do this by offering any support she would need as well as advice. Number 2, I don't think she needs extra security, but I would provide it if Miss Walker asked for it. I would address the staff in an emergency faculty meeting to raise awareness of the situation. This way, the other teachers can keep an ear to the ground. Maybe some students have chattered about the website. Number 4, I'd remind students about the abuse of internet privileges so they know things posted are monitored and punishments will be given. What we need to do to solve what happened is try to find the source of the email and website. I would contact technology departments see if they can string together a trace of email and websites. Ms. Walker has upset some students with parents. I would track down those names and compile a list to see who's been hurt by Ms. Walker's style, i.e. a student who may have earned his or her first C or maybe even a D, because these are kids that normally get A's and B's, mostly A's. I would definitely need to get the school attorney and superintendent in the loop as the threat made against my teacher. Bring in possible parties that may be involved, question them, remind them that threats against anyone are not to be taken lightly. Step 5, when the proper party or parties are found and the proper discipline will be given. I would again get in touch with the school admin to see what the policy is when it comes to this type of behavior. But as administrator, I would know what the policy is in case this does happen, but some things are different circumstances. Number 6, if no policy is in place, I'd treat it as a severe clause and punish the student with my colleagues I think is necessary to act like this will never happen again. We want the students to understand that we take these threats very seriously and punishment will be harsh. What's best for the students? The students of Roosevelt High need to realize that any threats against peers or staff will not be taken lightly. Even if it's considered a prank via the internet, via the students, and be seen as a serious threat. With this being stated, we would then review the school's policy over internet privileges and acceptable use. Parents would be reminded of the school's policy of internet use as to what is acceptable and also what makes parents aware of the repercussions of breaking this policy. This is a case of cyberbullying, which can have criminal consequences. According to cyberbullying.com, this is a type of website that was put up by a student that can be punishable by law because of the threat of violence. Number 5, provide Ms. Walker an instructional coach to help come up with methods that would provide more positive results with her instructions. This is what it asks of our teachers at EMS. If we're having struggles in the classroom, our instructional coaches provide a great outlet of data and have to promote greater student success with different thoughts or lesson plans to help make sure our students are successful. This is something that Ms. Walker should take advantage of. What was I thinking? What was going through Dr. Forbes' mind by not following up with Ms. Walker's teaching, such as not providing a mentor or even doing something as simple as more walkthroughs as she was getting complaints for her body of work? I'd be careful to jump to conclusions. Ms. Walker mentions Randy Frakes as a possible culprit, but we need to go through the process of investigation. We do not want another fire to be put out. Do I have to put out another fire with parents because of wrongly accused students? How can kids sleep at night? Coming up with these websites or slam pages for people is beyond me. Just so much hate and nastiness. It bothers me. So that was something I was thinking. I felt that I let down my staff by not helping Miss Walker out more or following up on her performance complaints. This would inspire a little guilt from me. I keep hearing about it. I make suggestions, but not going into the classroom or sending our instructional coaches in there to provide some help. That's kind of on me. So I was a little upset about that. Anger on my behalf that students and maybe parents can attack a teacher of mine this way. Even though nothing's really been done to her, but just the threat of it really upset me. I value her ability to still teach with all the criticism she's received via the parents and students. Still sticking to your guns, thinking this is the way it needs to be taught. A little stubbornness, but, not going to let somebody intimidate her into teaching in a way she doesn't want to. Therefore, kind of led to the situation we're in now. Use the resources in the school to track down the culprit. Have a good tech department. These things can be tracked down. The ability for Dr. Forbes to calm his teacher down in a moment in crisis. Into the phone call at evening, that can be very troubling. To find out what to do, handle it, stay calm is a good quality. I value that in him. Why didn't Miss Walker use the methods given by Dr. Forbes? Was she too prideful? Did she think she was doing the right thing anyways? Sometimes teachers just get hard-headed and they think they're doing the right thing. Students are unaware of students are unaware of repercussions of making such a website. We need to have a day of information for the kids to understand what can happen when items of this nature get posted. How will this affect the teaching community and the high marks that Roosevelt High has earned in the past? No school needs bad publicity. And continuing on with this, how will this affect the public, knowing that their kids are capable of making such websites? What can be done by the technology department to prevent these types of websites from being created, say it was done at school? Well, like I've said before, filters and more filters. We need to make sure we are not giving kids a chance to do something like this during school time. We can't hold their hands at home and make sure they're not doing the wrong thing on the computers, but at school we should be able to handle this. Component 1. Teachers were informed to review the Internet Compliance Policy with students to refresh their memory of what is appropriate actions on school web time. I would not jump to conclusions with the accusations of student Randy Franks. We'd complete the investigation before making claims. I would let staff know of a web page. I'm not sure I'd announce it to the student body about the actual web page, but inform them about cyberbullying and slam pages and the consequences that can be had with them. Treat people fairly. Component 2. I did not jump the gun on accusing a student or parent of creating a web page. I did not want to create a hostile atmosphere with the faculty and student body when we're trying to get to the bottom of this. I provide Ms. Walker with the support she needs to get through this troubling time at work, and provide and insist on any teaching assistance help her in the classroom. I provide an anonymous tip jar, email, something to apprehend the guilty parties. I need to keep student and faculty confidence, so don't make them feel like a rat, but we want to make sure that this problem goes away the correct way, not by shoving it under the carpet. So use it reaching out to the student body to find anything that might have been heard. would be great. Component 3, demonstrate a personal and professional code. I think addressing to the students how real-world situations can affect their lives forever. Making threats such as making her disappear can be punishable by law. They don't think before they do, and they make mistakes not knowing what's going to happen to them later on. So letting them know this website is a major no-no in the law world. 2, holding back the urge to jump on the bandwagon against Randy Franks because he is clever and also disruptive influence. He may be all those things, but that doesn't make him the guilty party. And lastly, providing Miss Walker with help from instructional coaches and more walkthroughs to help her become a stronger teacher and accomplished professional educator. Using her resources is going to be a thing she needs to really do to become a better teacher and hopefully avoid this in the future if she stays in the field. In conclusion, as a person who's responsible for the health and well-being of students and faculty, it's important to follow the protocol that's been set forth by the Board of Ed and as well as fellow administrators. Being sure not to leave out feedback of the educators as well as the students. We need to know what we're doing wrong, what we can do to make it better. We need to make sure the kids know and the faculty know there's a code of ethics to follow. We must not overlook these things when our emotions are running high when something of this nature happens. It's a normal reaction to get very upset when something like this happens, so we need to learn to stay calm and follow our process so we don't make a mistake in trying to find the culprit of this website. Thank you.